This is Susan again, and I'm getting back into doing my videos. And it has been a long time, a lot of things have happened, but I'm really excited to be back and to show you a little bit about working with different scrap kits and different artists. Today I'm working with Created by Jill, and she has just, she's going to release tomorrow. By the time you get this, it'll be released, so I probably shouldn't say that. She's releasing her 29th Blendit template. And these are so great, especially for those of you who want to have a more artsy type of a layout, but you don't really know how to do the blendings and the different things that people do. So I'm going to show you how to use this, and it's really, really simple. You really only need to know a few commands. You need to know how to clip papers to the layers here. And on Windows, it's just Control-Alt-G. With on your Mac, it's Command-Option-G, or Command-Control-G is in Photoshop Elements. And you can start from the top, or you can start from the bottom. You can start from whichever way you want. So when you first open up your template, this is what you see. And at the very, very top here, it says delete this layer. So this is some information about you. And the most important thing is to just play around. I'm going to try to do this in a quicker manner so that it doesn't take forever for you to see me get to the finished product here. But you can just throw papers in and play around with it and see what you think. So I'm going to just turn off this layer. And I have already chosen my pictures. I wanted to cut down as much time as I could. Now there's another thing that she has in here, and it's a little bit towards the middle here, and there's an optional frame, and you can just turn them on if you want to use those. And they're not really showing because they're actually under here, but you can turn them on. And these are like, it's a frame that the picture, it looks like the picture spills out of the frame. So I have chosen Created by Jill's Looking Back kit, and she has some alphas and the elements and the her papers. And I'm going to start with the background. And the easiest way to do it for me is to start from the back. And what I do is turn on and off. This is the background, the complete background layer, and it's white. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm not quite sure what I want to do. Now with this, there is a really light background, so usually what I will do is I'll take that because it's part of the thing. So you want to, I want to pull this, and you want to lay it right on top of the layer that you're working on. So you're above the layer, and then you want to do the. I'm on a Mac and I'm in Photoshop, so I do Option Command G, and it ties it to that level. So then I'm going to go to the second layer, and I turn it off so that I know what it's affecting. So you see how it disappeared there? That's what this is affecting. And I think that probably needs a darker color, so I'm going to pull in the dark green, and I'm going to see how that works. And then I'm going to do I hit return so that it's part of it, and then Shift Command G, and that gave me a little bit of a green. See how it added just a little bit of green? Now I have another paper here, and that's on that side, and I think I still want to do green there. So I'm going to pull green to the top of this one as well. Pull that in there, and see how it's on top there? I'm going to do Command, Option, and G. Oh, first I have to hit return. Command, Option, G. And that gives me a little green on that side, so it gives a little bit of balance. Next one is up there, and I think that a pattern would look good there. So I'm going to go with the dots, and I'm going to see how I like the dots there. Again, you hit enter, and see, look at that. See how it left these little, left it behind there? Isn't that pretty? I actually like that one better. You know what? That was where the green was. And I like what it did there. So let's see with this paper let's pull some brown. We'll put the brown in there, and let's see what that looks like. Just get a little bit of a color in there. And now this is the white. See how the white disappeared there? I think that I want to play around with some stripes. So I'm going to put the stripes there. I'm going to make sure it lands above what you're doing. So you can clip that in there. And I like that. So I've got another paper here, and that's going to take up a lot of stuff. So I want to decide what color I want, and I really, really like this color, and I think a plain would go well there. So I'm going to drag that on there, and I'm going to clip it on, and see how it just left that green there? We have paper over there. Okay. Going to give a little more texture to my page. I'm going to use that. See how it's just laying on top of each other now, over and over, and it's making dimension there. This one, this paper here. Okay, you see that one is a pretty dark one there. So I'm not going to use a pattern paper for that. I'm going to go light. Well, see, we got the light there. So I'm going to try my dark green again. And I'm going to pull that and see what that looks like. And I think I like that, the dark green there. This is the white over here. And I'm going to go with this one. See, this is actually the longest part. This is the part that takes the longest to do. And then after you're done, you can choose the different colors and paper, little elements and things that you want to have on your page. And see, I'm just playing around. And after I'm done, I can look at it and think, you know what? That doesn't quite look right, or, you know, that's working really well for me. And you just keep playing around, and you find something that you don't like afterwards, and you click on it and you go, you know, that doesn't really fit. So then you click on it, and you can just change the paper. Okay, now that's the paint. Sometimes I don't like the paint. I'm going to go for a real light color with the paint, because I'm kind of, I'm not real bold with my paint. Let's put it that way. Now this is a scribble, and I'm going to go with a brown, but I'm not going to clip a paper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a color layer style, color overlay, and I'm going to choose a different color because I really, let's see how we're having some browns in it, so I wanted to choose that instead. So I just changed that color. I've got a scribble over here, and I'm just going to go ahead and drag that scribble. I'm going to change it to that color, and this scribble, and this scribble. So I changed all the scribbles to that brown so that it matches. Now I think this, did I get that one the brown? Yeah, I did. Okay, so we've got those. Now we've got all these papers here, and they've got their drop shadows, and she's already drop shadowed them. So you don't need to do anything to the drop shadow line, just the paper. So we're only working with the paper right now. And this paper, I want it to be kind of calm and not take over, because now we're getting closer to the faces and to the pictures. And for me, I like the pictures to show up. I don't like what I'm doing. The kid is supposed to enhance, not take over. So when I get close to the faces, I like to do things a little bit quieter Everybody's different, like I say, everyone's different. They like different things. And you just do what works best for you. I'm going to do what works best for me, what I like to see. And you playing around can be something that you're happy with. Now, I have never liked big staples, so I tend to make my staples smaller. And you make sure, if you're moving anything, you want to make sure to pick the drop shadow too, because Jill sometimes makes her own drop shadows in a different layer, and you want to make sure that you keep them together. Now, I made this smaller, but I forgot to make my drop shadow smaller, so I'm going to have to do that too. I have to pull that baby in. Okay. So there. Now I've taken care of my little staple, and I don't want it in his head. It looks kind of funny. So I am going to move it over here so it's not, oops, I just got the drop shadow. Why isn't this moving? Wrong staple, that's why. There's another staple somewhere that's moving around. Where's the staple? Oh, there it is. See, now I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that staple because I already fixed the other one. So I will just go ahead and pull, I'm going to group them, Command E, and pull this one on over here. So now we've got both of them. Now when you're sure that you're happy with where the placement of your pictures are, sometimes it's a good idea, I flatten them. So what you do is you click on the picture on the top and you hit Command E, excuse me, you pick both of them and you hit Command E, and that just moves them together. It puts them on the same layer. Now you want to make sure that you like what you see, because if you do this, you can't separate them again. And I always do that with the paper, and the reason I do that with the paper is because I don't like all of the layers and trying to work through the layers. So when I'm sure I like what I have, then I just go ahead and, oops, I just go ahead and join them. And I also tend to join her papers and shadows. And you don't need to watch me do this. I could do that off camera. So anyway, I've got a couple more to do here. So let's start with this one. What do I want standing out the most for me? Because this is going to be the thing that you see. And I really like the dots. So I'm going to put the dots on. And I'm going to group. So I got the dots. Now I'm going to put the brown here. I'm a matchy-matchy type person, and I like things to work together. That's just the way I am. And I'm going to use the same thing up here. And I've got the brown. Put that brown in there. Okay, then I'm going to look and see. I've got everything there. Got all the backgrounds done. Now, since I'm not going to do these optional things, I delete them. And one of the reasons I do delete them is the file gets really big when you have a lot of stuff on it. So I just like to throw away what I can. So there we go. There is the background. And now I'm going to move to my elements. And this is where you can, actually I want to see what these alpha dates are. Okay, I forgot what those were. All right, so down, this is where you get to personalize your page. If you do it just like the Blendit is, that's what you're going to see. And everybody's going to have the same thing, you're just going to have a different kit. this is where you get to shine. This is where you get to take the things that you like to use. For me, I love flowers, and I'm not typically real big on throwing a whole bunch of stuff on it, but I have always loved stitching. So anytime there's a stitch somewhere, I'm going to use it because I'm just like that. So then I decide where I want my stitches. Now I use styles, and I'm actually using Fiddle Dee Dee Designs shadows, and it really is helpful for me because I'm a slow scrapper. I really am. I know so many people that just can whip out a page. I can't, and I finoodle with things, and I move things around a lot. And one of the things I mess around a lot with is the shadows. And I find that her shadows are so beautiful that I don't have to play with them. And I enjoy them. So I use pre-made styles. And you just start putting things on. Some people will they'll have an idea of what they're going to do, and they'll just like throw everything on and then decide whether they're going to keep them on or not. I'm more the type that I think about it too much, and I think that's why sometimes my my process videos get very long, because I think, oh, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do that, and oh, I'm not sure if I like that one or not, and I keep going and keep going, and all of a sudden it's taken me forever and a day to get something done. Now, I'm a flower girl. I love flowers. I always do clusters. I always put flowers around. And even though this is a layout about my husband and his relationship with our daughter, it's just, it just warms my heart to see them together. And they're still like this. She's going to be 15 in February. So these pictures are a long time ago. But I can tell you that the love is still the same. I look at his face when he looks at her, and her face when she looks at him, and it's the same. It's still the same, and it just, I love it. And so I'm throwing these little things in, and you just play around with them, make them big, make them small, put them wherever you want them to go, and we'll see. We'll see how it works out. I'm a matchy-match person, and so there, most of the time, what I will do is I'll use the same flower cluster, but I'll make it smaller or bigger or turn it around. Um, and I typically am not a ribbons person. I don't seem to do well with them. Excuse the yawning. It's 6:30 in the morning, and I've been up since 3. I need to drive my husband to work in the morning because we have one car. And boy, sometimes morning just comes so fast. And you just want to go back to bed, and it just doesn't happen. And so I find myself very yawny at times, so excuse the yawn. Now I'm going to have some journaling on this, and when I'm done with all of this, putting it together, then I will make the journaling, and then at the end of the video I will show you what I decided to do in my journaling. I haven't really thought it out yet, but I wanted to get the process video done at least so you could see how things go, and then we can decide. You don't have to watch all my deciding process. I always love her little strings and things that she has. I always, that the stripe is always so visually interesting to me. And I like using the buttons to hold it down. Now see how it's under there? One of the things that I'm really crazy about is I like to scrap realistically. I want people to look at my scrap pages and think, oh, is that real, or is that not real because it's real? Thinking, is that a paper scrap or is that digital? So I tend to try to make them look very very realistic. And I also like to put buttons. I'm a button girl too. I like to tack down my strings. Okay, now I'm feeling like it's a little bit uneven, that it needs something bottom left corner. So maybe I'll have these arrows. And obviously they're too big, so I'm going to pull them down. And I'm going to tie it into the remember this moment. And, oh, too bulky. I'm going to do that as a layered. And see, now this kind of ties the remember this moment, and it ties what's going on here over to here. Now, I don't really like the scribble, so I think I'm going to take the scribble out. Yeah. I like the squares here, but I wasn't really big on the scribble. And that's the thing about this. If there's some part of this that you don't like, that it doesn't seem to work for you, that's cool. You just delete it. You don't have to use it. I don't think Jill will get offended in any way, shape, or form if you take something out. So now I'm starting to play around and see some of the things that I like. I like that one there. Actually, no, I like it more here. Pull this one out a little bit. Oh, whoops, how did he get so low? So pull the flower up. There we go. And get that there. Now, I keep doing some playing around because it's feeling like there's something missing. And I'm not sure exactly what it is. It feels like it's just not done. And so I'm going to pause here and I'm going to think about it for a little while, and then I'll come back and I was gone. I moved around quite a lot, but I didn't want you to see me playing back and forth. I added, right here, I added journaling. I moved remember this moment over here. I moved this down a little, and I added this little fleur-de-lis of pearls and moved my flowers around a little bit. And then I turned the pictures to black and white because I felt like they were a little bit distracting, that they were all different colors. So that's it. I have used Created by Jill's number 29, and I used her Looking Back kit. Both are available at Pickleberry Pop, and I'll put the links in the YouTube video afterwards. It's in the comments. So thank you for coming. Thank you for sitting with me and listening to me as I scrap this page in memory of my husband and our baby girl. And I hope that you enjoyed the lesson, and I hope that you learned something that will help you to chronicle your memories just that much better. Oh, and the shadowing was Fiddle-Dee-Dee Designs styles, shadow styles. And she is at the Lily Pad. Thanks again for coming, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.